Hi, I'm English teacher Kebab. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California. I hope you're having a good day from wherever you are. And today I want to talk about the huge difference between spoken American English and written American English. And this video is primarily for ESL students, adult ESL students, although anybody is welcome to watch, but I just wanted you to know where I'm coming from. So hang on one second here as I share my screen so we can get started. Forward. Again, the title, The Difference Between Spoken and Written English in the USA for ESL Students. I am an ESL teacher. ESL stands for English as a Second Language. I teach adults at an adult school. I've been teaching English. I started teaching kids 18 years ago. I've been teaching adults for the last 7. I'm certified by the state of California. And I understand English pretty well. I speak only English fluently. Been speaking it my whole life. I'm American, so I speak like an American, which if you're British and watching this, you probably think that's not very good English. And that's one of the things I want to talk about. But although I do teach formal English in my class, I think it's important for the people who live here to understand the local language as well as the formal language. This is where we live. And American English it's been made fun of by people around the world who either are British or whatever. But this is who we are, this is what we do, and I think it's important that people understand the differences. I'm not going to say one is better than the other, but that's just the way I see it. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about here. Hang on one second. So my introduction, well, there you have it. I've just done that. So what is proper written English? What is American English? What is common American spoken English? And I'll give you some examples of common spoken American English, and then we'll wrap it up, okay? So proper English, what is it? Well, it's scholarly language. It's what we teach in school. That's what you probably learned in school and probably thought it was boring. I thought it was boring when I was a kid, but I've come to realize it's a beautiful language. And it's what all English speaking countries use in their educational system, at least. It's what is taught. It is the use of correct pronunciation and punctuation and more. And it is what is used in professional and formal settings, I think all around the world, certainly here in the United States. And I believe it's always proper English is what is strived for in all professional and formal settings. But the truth is, here in the United States, we don't always adhere to that. I will admit I try to, and I know the difference, but I find myself lapsing into informal American English quite often, and maybe even as I'm speaking now and don't even realize it. So I'll give you an example of what proper English is. So I'm going to read what I wrote here. Today, we are going to learn how to use English properly. How do we do that? There are grammar rules that we follow. Those rules include knowing and using the 8 parts of speech correctly, understanding proper sentence structure, and much more. It is how educated people use and understand our language. Now, that's how it was written, and that's how it's supposed to sound, at least with my American, if you want to call it an accent. But the truth is, if I was just reading this and I wasn't making this video, or if I was just talking to somebody and my English was not being monitored, I would say, today we're gonna learn how to use English properly. How do we do that? There are grammar rules that we follow. Those rules include knowing and using the 8 parts of speech correctly, understanding proper sentence structure, and much more. It's how educated people use and understand our language. Now, do you hear the difference? There's probably quite a bit of a difference there. But that's the way we do it here in the United States. So I'm not knocking it, it's just the way it is. So American English, well, technically, and I say technically, it's the same as proper British English, at least the way it's written and the way it's taught. However, there are some differences, quite a few differences actually, in spelling and many differences in pronunciation. We accuse each other of having an accent, whether we have the accent or they have the accent. I'm talking Britain. I would have to say it would be us because actually English started in Britain, not the United States. But there are differences in pronunciation, whether it's because of the accent or whatever. And American English just sounds different than British English. And there are different dialects and different countries that speak English that have, it just sounds different than American English. Although technically the proper English is the same in all of the countries that speak English. The ones that come to mind are Canada, Australia, New Zealand, of course, England or Britain, Scotland, Ireland, South Africa, and there are probably more as well. But for a little snippet or example here, in Britain, they would write, "My favorite color is red." In American, we'd write it the same way, and we would say it almost the same way. "My favorite color is red," but you can see the spelling is different. That's just one example. And the second example here in Britain, they would say, "It has been 20 years," although my accent or the pronunciation is probably a little different. In English, we would just say, "It has been 20 years." We probably wouldn't pronounce the T. And the British people make fun of us about that. And the truth is, it's the truth. So be it. But that's just the way we speak here. All right. So let's see here. Some common American spoken English. The British say we murder the language. And I largely agree. Yeah, my ESL students ask me questions about things, and I try to explain it, and I can't. So I have to tell them sometimes, "I'm sorry, but English is a crazy language, and Americans murder the language." So this is the way we do it here. And sometimes that's just the best example I have. And I'm as guilty as anyone else in speaking American English. Well, because I'm American, I grew up here. And I don't do it to be disrespectful or uneducated. It's just, you just get used to the local lingo. And that's what I speak most of the time. Although in the classroom, I do teach and do my best to keep it as proper as possible. But like I said in the beginning, it's also important that people understand that it's actually spoken different here in the United States. And so if they're going to live here, I just said it, if they're going to live here, they need to know that what they're hearing is there it is again, it's not going to be the same as the way it's written. All right. So we often do not pronounce words the way they are written. That's the way we are. I learned the way I learned, and I don't even realize I'm doing it, even as I'm speaking right now. And often sounds like lazy English. And yes, I guess you could say that it is. So, some examples of common American English. Did you eat yet? Which is supposed to be, did you eat yet? I don't want to go, which is supposed to be, I don't want to go. I have to go. No, it's I have to go. I'm sick of you. No, it's I'm sick of you. We don't say of very often. We kind of roll it as an A. Don't you want any? Don't you want any? Give me a break. No, it's give me a break. Just do it. Famous saying, what was it? Nike that used to say that, just do it. We say just do it. I got more in you. No, I got more than you. Wait till later. Wait until later. Let me know. Let me know. Where are you going? Where are you going? Sure. Sure. What's your name? What's your name? How about that? How about that? What do you mean? What do you mean? Good night. Good night. Yeah, we have a tendency to murder the language, and these are just a few examples. There's a lot more than that. So, yeah, English is a crazy language, but if you know the rules, I don't think it's so bad to relax it a little bit, and that's kind of where I fit. Kinda. There's another one. Kinda. I'm not even sure that's a real word. That's an example of just being who we are. I do try to teach proper English and speak proper English when necessary. American English is just different. It's different than British English, and it's different from a lot of other countries who speak English, but it's still English. And common spoken American English is different than the way it's written. And I don't want to make excuses for it. There I go. I don't want to make excuses for it. I've given you some examples, and I want to tell you about my website, which you can see at the bottom of the screen here. I'm English Teacher Kebab. I'd love to have you join me on my website, and we can learn some English, both proper and common. I do private teaching, and I have a lot of material on the website that you can use. Either there's download material that you can download. I've got several videos like the one we're making right here, and I'd love to have you join me. So I hope you will leave comments and questions below the video in the comments section. I hope you like the video with a thumbs up, and I would love it if you'd subscribe to this YouTube channel. There's also a written version of this this video, a corresponding written account that goes with this video, I should say. So with that, I will say, have a good day. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.